Imagine you're in the resistance in World War II France. You need ammo and a way to carry it onto the battlefield, but you have no standard issue gear, no resupply. So how would you solve that problem? I would have made something, so that's what I'm doing in this video. I'm building a 2-pocket pouch for ammo out of leather. So to kick off this build, I needed measurements so I knew how big to make these pouches, but the problem was I couldn't find any clear dimensions online for these vintage rifle rounds with their clips. So when you don't have an answer, you build the solution. And I thought, what's the biggest clip I might need for a resistance loadout? Well, that would be for me the 8x50R Mannlicher round for my M95 rifle with the clip. But the only problem is I didn't have any of these on hand. So I 3D printed some dummy rounds and even designed my own M95 clip to 3D print. With these on hand, I grabbed some note paper and then laid out a pattern with calipers and a ruler. I also added some extra seam allowances around the edge so I could stitch it together better. And then I cut it all out. Since I wanted 2 pockets, I mirrored the template and cut that out too and removed the center seam. And then I taped both halves together. And then I had a double pocket version to use as a pattern. I stuck the whole pattern to my leather scrap, skipped the tracing and went straight to the razor blade. That saved some time but was a little risky. Now for the pouch back. Most military pouches seem to have a separate lid that was stitched on, but I wanted to save time and make things a little easier. Choice a resistance fighter might have made, so I made the top and the back, so the lid and the back, out of one piece of leather. The leather wasn't quite long enough for the side flaps of the lid, so I cut out extra pieces, burnished those, and stitched those on. Next, I cut short straps for the belt loops, and I stitched the tops only, but added snaps to the bottom. The snaps all looked fine, but when I went to pull and unsnap it, the snaps pulled out. It turns out the included tool was kind of junk and didn't pin over the metal well enough. So after experimenting, I found a regular punch worked better to begin with, and then finishing up with this applied tool. Once I did that, the snaps held tight even when I yanked on it nice and hard. So time to sew. I'm using a Speedy Stitch sewing awl, but first I punched holes all around the perimeter using a punch and a hammer, but that was noisy, so I was looking for a quieter solution that wouldn't wake the baby. So I found another solution. So I rigged up my drill press to act like a manual press and put the punch in that and then used that. It was both quieter, faster, and easier. So it turns out sewing from the outside was way easier because I actually could see the holes that I was sewing through. I first tried sewing through the inside through the unfinished side. That was much harder. This sewing method mimics a sewing machine stitch. You push the needle through, pull the back loop, and then slide the thread through that loop. Pull that back out, tighten it all up, and it looks great. It took a while to do all this sewing, so I broke it up over a few days. I didn't film it all because you kind of get the idea of how it went by the footage I'm showing right now. So I stitched both pockets together, but I didn't sew the center seam. I saved that for last. This gave me space to work with my hands, and the pockets were made out of black leather, so it was hard to see. So any extra light was helpful when sewing. With that whole perimeter done, I sewed the center seam. With the structure done on these ammo pouches, I needed a way to easily close the lids and hold them shut. So I cut some leather straps, burnished the edges, stitched them to the pouch lid flap. Originally, I planned to make leather studs from scrap steel on my lathe, but my time's tight, so I bought some pre-made ones. I punched some holes in the bottom of the pouch, again using the drill press punch, and I threaded through the leather, tightening it up good and tight. Then for the straps, I punched some holes where they lined up with the leather studs and cut slits leading to those holes. And now it can, well, I guess not snap, but slide over those studs and hold nice and tight, keeping the lid closed. Now with that sorted, the lid opens fast and easy. I wasn't sure if I wanted to show you guys this next footage. Why? Well, it's a little bit behind the scenes. I was looking for a solution to hide a camera so I could bring you guys to the battlefield with me at reenactments. What you will see next is my first attempt at making a hidden camera mount. Did I succeed? And is there any historical reasoning behind making this ammo pouch? Let's discuss this in a moment. So I designed a hidden camera mount. So I went over to CAD first on my computer, drew up the camera so I kind of knew what size I was working with, and created a negative space in my overall design and 3D printed that insert. It fit first try. It dropped in great. Now I needed to raise the camera up a little bit so the lens could peek out, so I added a wood spacer underneath. When not in use, it easily slid and stowed away in this extra storage space that I designed into this camera mount. Also, when I designed this camera mount, I added some channels to carry the sound better. And since the print is black, just like the leather, it blends in great. Now the only thing that will really show is the lens. I mounted it on my shoulder sling that I use for carrying my Bren ammo pouch. So with this all done, I thought it'd be wise to test it out, and I'm glad I did because I ran into a problem. When I had it mounted just like I was planning and picked up a rifle, the stock of the rifle blocked the camera view, so there was nothing to see. This is a big problem. So this setup might become a backup for our reenactments. So Camera Rig 2.0 is already in the works. So stay tuned for that. I'm hoping to make a video of that one as well. So here's how it looked on me. Honestly, this is exactly the kind of thing I picture a resistance fighter making to solve the problem of carrying ammo into the battlefield. It's simple, practical, and solves the real problem. So why would I make my own ammo pouch to do French resistance reenacting when there's options like a K98 ammo pouch? That is a solid question, and a K98 ammo pouch is not wrong to use for French resistance reenacting. There are a wide range of options for French resistance Maquis impression when researched accurately and tying together the surrounding factors. And in this case, part of the thought process behind this was that there were many people who were in the Maquis who had been previously hunters and other things like that and could have repurposed something that they would have had from their civilian life, as that's the majority of what happened. They would reuse what they had access to. But the biggest thing too I'd also want to highlight is that their camp life was very tedious, hard, and often very boring. In fact, they did a lot of things to try to keep themselves busy, including different projects or even trying to educate each other in a sort of a forest school mentality. Would have they made things themselves? Most certainly. They did it in civilian life, they would have done it in the Maquis. So, having a handmade ammo pouch, very likely within the realm of probability based on skills, knowledge, material, and all the surrounding circumstances. Now, would this be correct if multiple people copied this idea or thought process and made one of these? No. At that point, it'd become inaccurate or unlikely because, again, there'd be multiple one and not an official manufacturer. This is more of a generic ammo pouch that's loosely based off of different designs that they would have seen during World War I, or could even been an adapted or modified World War I ammo pouch. Because many French people did use a lot of surplus as that was cheap, and much of it had been dropped around France after World War I or the Great War. But this is a very long-winded reason to say why I believe having a handmade ammo pouch is a great addition to a French resistance kit. But that same argument applies to a lot of things in the French resistance Maquis impression. Handmade, very accurate. France had a lot of shortages. They improvised, they made do, they modified, and they repaired things. Now, the other elephant in the room is, does that mean that we can just come up with anything that our mind wants to come up with and then create it? I would argue that that wouldn't be correct. We'd want to base it off of what we can see. Items that they would have taken inspiration from, or items they would have modified. Things that we can base our knowledge on and say they had that same knowledge. So those are just some thoughts to maybe take into consideration. And I hope you enjoyed this project video. And as you've made it this point in this video, I would assume you liked it. So make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, comment down below. Is there something you think I should try making for my kit? I'm open to maybe some suggestions, and who knows, maybe someday I will actually be able to go about and tackle that project. Anyways, this is Brave Builds, where history, kit, and reenacting all come together to help us build a better understanding of their bravery, because their story deserves to be remembered.